Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here to talk about SRI, and I thank for this RISS organization. I am Antonello Magliozzi. I work in Arcadis Italy as the head of ESG Sustainability and Urban Regeneration team. Today, I will describe the meaning of the acronym SRI, which stands for Smart Readiness Indicator, and of course, its practical implication in the real estate and construction sector. Before introducing the SRI concept in more detail, I would like to tell how the Smart Readiness Indicator fits into a broader concept of ESG ecosystem. Indeed, in its broadest sense, the ESG ecosystem refers to European legislation, as well as international standards and frameworks. One of the essential references recently being updated is the regulation stemming from the EPBD, Energy Performance Building Directive, which in fact introduced the Smart Readiness Indicator a few years ago. According to this ecosystem, however, the regulation must be dropped into the requirements of specific assets to verify through assessment a particular needs. This is also because necessary. This also becomes necessary with a view into the double materiality, where transitional risks inside out and physical risks outside in must be assessed. Thus, to define a tailored decarbonization strategy with reference to climate mitigation and governance policies, different energy environmental protocols, such as those of the Green Building Council or the International Wellbeing Institute, may be helpful. At the same time, SRI become a further tool for implementing strategies and monitor performances. What is SRI? Considering the importance of the smart technologies as an essential enabler to decarbonize the building sector, the concept of the SRI, Smart Readiness Indicator, was conceived. Aiming to evaluate the smartness of a building, SRI referred to the ability to monitor, report, interpret, and officially respond to changing conditions in relation to the operation of technical building systems, the external environment, including energy grids, and the demands from the building occupants. How was the SRI conceived? SRI was first mentioned in 2017 within the context of a study prepared by the European Commission. The concept was defined as the European Energy Performance of Building Directive, EPBD, in 2018, with the legal framework being further defined by the Commission delegated regulation in 2020, consisting of the structure and principles of the SRI calculation methodology. In 2022, the test phase officially started in voluntary countries such as France and Croatia. In 2023, the further and of the future of the EPD and the SRI was discussed in a trialogue between the European Commission, the European Parliament, and the Council of the EU on the SRI. What criteria does the SRI consider? The SRI rates the smart readiness of buildings or buildings unit and their capability to perform three key functionalities: optimize energy efficiency and overall operational performance, adapt their operation to the needs of the occupant, adapt the signals from the grid, such as energy flexibility. The key functionalities consider the following 7 impacts in smart building: energy efficiency, maintenance and fault prediction, comfort, convenience, health, well-being, information to occupant, energy flexibility, and storage. Considering such impact criteria, the SRI assessment consists of evaluating the performance of smart ready device, categorized in the following 9 technical domains: heating, cooling, domestic hot water, ventilation, lighting, dynamic building envelope, electricity, electric vehicle charging, monitoring, and control. How to assess the SRI? There are 3 potential SRI assessment methods: Method A, Method B, and Method C. Method A and B are based on the assessment of the smart ready services that are present or planned at the design stage, aiming to determine what services are present or planned, and if so, the functionality level for each of those services. The main difference is that method A considers a reduced service catalog. By default, method B would require an on-site inspection to the assessed object. Alternatively, method C aims to be based on measured data, quantifying the operational smartness of in-use buildings. Overall, the generic process of the SRI assessment following method A and B is as outlined in the figure you can see in the current slide. How to assess the SRI? We are developing a tool for having a high-level assessment, for having a quick scan of the Smart Readiness Indicator of building. You can see in this video that thanks to a digital dashboard, you can put the main indication about the building to calculate a score of the building that is referred to the Smart Readiness Indicator. The demonstration, the calculation tool you can see in this video at the end can also give you a score with the indication of the class of the building related to the Smart Readiness Indicator, together with information of each of those categories that I mentioned before. We can consider the outcome of the calculation. The outcome indicates aggregate scores corresponding to the 3 key functionalities and the total Smart Readiness score corresponding to a Smart Readiness rating based on 7 Smart Readiness classes from G to A. And the SRI certificate defines the required information to be included in the certificate resulting from the SRI assessment by an expert. It sets certain features expected to be common across member states. The content of the Smart Readiness Indicator certificate are defined by Annex 9 of the Commission Delegated Regulation 2020-2155 and must include certificate information such as a unique ID and date of emission and expiration, essential building information, and Smart Readiness information such as SRI class. Where is the SRI? The Smart Readiness Indicator is currently being officially tested in 13 EU countries: Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Poland, Slovenia, and Spain. In each of the 13 front-running countries, the national administration is supported by one or several local technical partners and by SRI support team. Other member states are expected to test the SRI in the future, such as Greece, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, and Romania. Which are the SRI projects? In parallel with policy development, the European Commission has overall several years supported research, innovation, and market uptake projects, such as SRI to Market project, which aims to improve the knowledge and capabilities of 6 member states with regard to introduction of the SRI in their national regulation and market. SRI Enact aims to engage stakeholders in national and EU level. Easy SRI aims to enable a smooth and extendable web platform that offers services for the automated calculation of the SRI. And furthermore, Smart Square is another project also funded by European Commission. Arcadis is part of Smart Square Consortium, together with the other partners you can find here in this slide. This project aims to develop and deliver appropriate tools and applications which enable the promotion and establishment of intelligence assessment of building in Europe through Building Smart Readiness Indicator scale. Smart Square aspires also to deliver a cloud-based open platform for assessing the intelligence of building, available in all EU official languages with a view to maximize synergies with other EU initiatives. As part of the project, an SRI standardization process is already ongoing, with the aim to act as a forerunner of a standardized procedure. Smart Square will also enable the smartness assessment of building with the use of real-time data based on the in-use assessment method. There are 6 pilot projects for the Smart Square initiative. One of them is the Piazzale Loreto LOC project located in Milan. The project is one of the different Milan area locations that the city of Milan put forward into the global reinventing city challenge. Since the beginning of its conception, LOC presented to be an innovative and resilient project aiming to significantly reduce building energy consumption by adopting an array of initiatives such as smart appliances. More in general, LOC is a project that faced with 10 challenges with an holistic approach as per sustainability projects. This refers to energy efficiency, construction materials, low emission mobility, resilience, ecological service, water resources, waste management, inclusive actions, and together with architecture and innovation. SRI refers to more than one challenge, how we can see in the next few slides. Indeed, LOC responds to a series of challenges presenting synergies with the SRI. As you see in this slide, SRI refers to C40 challenges of energy efficiency, together with that of low carbon mobility, or that of climate resilience and social benefits for the community. The first idea of the project was that the impact of the SRI relied in fostering the achievement of such challenges in LOC. Furthermore, since LOC couples the work of new and existing buildings within a social fabric, SRI goes beyond the individual building concept and toward the smart square concept. In fact, LOC pioneers the concept of smart ready community, building complexes in which all buildings are SRI certified and monitored. The buildings in a smart ready community will enhance energy performances according to user needs, in coherence with district systems, thus creating added value awareness at the neighborhood level. I thank you very much for your attention.